Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and it's time once again for another random unboxing. I've got 4 or 5 different things that just came in, and we're going to take them out of the box, and these will be things that we'll be looking at in greater detail with future reviews as we work our way through the new year. Now, all of these things came in under different circumstances, so as I am unpacking them, I will tell you how they got here. Some are on loan, some things I bought, some things came in free of charge, and I'll let you know about all of that. This video, though, is not being sponsored by anyone, nor is anyone reviewing it or approving it before it was uploaded. So let's get into it now and start unboxing some of this stuff and see what's inside. All right, so this first item came in from Qnap, and there's a lot of packaging here to work our way through. So let's see what is inside. Now, this is something rather unique. This is, let me get it oriented in the right direction here so you can see what we're looking at. This is a network switch, but it also has a network attached storage device, I believe, built inside. So it has some additional functionality beyond just being a network switch. And we're going to take it out of the box here and see what we've got inside of it. All right, so we got the box out of the box, and now we can open up the box that's here, and we'll see what's inside. This has POE on some of the ports as well. So it's a smart switch. You can do your VLANs and everything. You can run your network attached storage out of it, and it has the ability to run virtual machines. So you can boot up Linux instances and Windows instances inside the switch itself. And I believe they're isolated. We'll check on all of that before we do the full review. So in the box here, we've got a power cord, a gigabit Ethernet cable, and a mounting bracket, it looks like, and some screws and stuff for that. I have a little instruction guide here as well. Let's get the overhead view back here, and we'll see what this switch looks like. And that is it. So let's pull it out of the box here. This looks like some heavy-duty pro gear. By the way, I forgot to mention, this is on loan from Qnap, so this goes back to them when we're done. I believe it costs about $700 or so, and it is heavy, by the way. You can easily rack mount this, I'm sure, to get a better configuration, or you can just have it lay flat somewhere. And we'll see what's inside. Now, this is not fanless, so you will need to keep its vents clear. It's powered by an Intel Celeron processor, and it looks like this one, according to this label, has 8 gigs of RAM built into it as well. So this is kind of a neat idea. And I've actually been thinking about setting up a VLAN here at the house, and I would need a, kind of a smart switch to manage all of that. So that's part of what we're going to look at with this thing, and we'll see how this does with all of that. So here it is. Let me get you my other angle here real quick to get a better view of it. And here you go. So you got a display here. You've got all your ports. The POE is on these 4 here. This is a host port, so I'm assuming that might be a serial connection to get into the terminal screens to access it. You have HDMI out here. We've seen this on a lot of other Qnap devices. They actually have an interface that runs on a television screen. Got a couple of USB ports here. Again, this is the kind of stuff you would normally see on their NAS. And then you've got all of your gigabit Ethernet ports here, along with 2 SFP ports for expansion. It looks like we've got some lights here on the front to indicate disk usage and whatnot. Pretty cool stuff. I might want to try to pop this thing open, though, and see what's inside. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll continue with the other unboxings. So we just opened up the case. It's very easy to get into, and as you can see, there is a lot of room in here for some expansion. Now this supports dual channel memory. It's got 8 gigs installed right now, and that is the maximum. This is your Intel Gemini Lake chip here, so it's not a super fast computer, but it's going to be good enough for some virtualization, some Docker, and some NAS functionality. You've got your network switch components here, again, along with POE on the first 4 ports. Right here, you've got 2 SATA slots for hard drives. This will fit a 2.5-inch drive, so I'll probably install some of my spare 2.5-inch SATA SSDs in here, so we'll test that out when we do the full review. And then here's something cool. You've got 2 PCI Express slots on the left-hand side, so you could slide in a 10 gigabit Ethernet card and add 10 gig to the mix as well. If I'm feeling ambitious, maybe we will try that. But that's pretty neat to have all that on here. And again, this is a switch and a NAS and essentially a PC, and you've got it all in one unit. And I'd be interested in hearing from folks as to whether or not it's a good idea to put all of this stuff inside one device, although I think in many small office environments it might make a lot of sense. So yeah, we'll be playing around with this thing some more. We might actually do a live stream as I get everything configured, so stay tuned for that. All right, this next item came in on loan from Chuwi, and when we're done with this, we actually are going to send it off to the next reviewer to take a look at, so it's kind of fun to spread this around. Now here's what the thing with Chuwi is, I've been reviewing laptops for a long time, and Chuwi is one of these brands from overseas, probably I think they're in China, that you probably haven't heard of, but what they make are computers that look pretty cool and don't cost all that much, but I often like to warn people to buy these at their own risk because there's not a very good customer service infrastructure with these folks. So if you've got one that works, you're going to be in good shape. But if it doesn't work, you're going to have some problems, I think, getting those issues resolved. So one of the good things about buying from Amazon is that you have some recourse and protection through Amazon. But just keep in mind, this is always a buy at your own risk kind of enterprise with these folks. So this is their new U-Book. The one we got here is preloaded with Windows. It's got a Gemini Lake N4100 processor on board along with Wi-Fi, IPS 1080p, so that's good. I think this is about $350 at the time I'm recording this video. So let's see the best way to get into this box here. So we're going to start with the main unit. They sent me a computer with the tablet and the keyboard and a pen. So that was the first thing we took out of the box here was the pen that goes with it. This will, of course, work with all the Windows 10 pen stuff. And in the full review, which we'll have here on the main channel, I will, of course, demo that. So this item here is the power brick. So you all know what that is. And let's pull the rest of the computer out here. Yeah, it looks like they, I'm doing a live stream as I unbox it here, and it looks like they do have a version that might come with Linux. We always try to install or at least run Linux on these things, so we'll definitely test that in the full review. And this one we may not get to until after the holiday season here. This is your instruction manual, and you've got whatever this is. And the computer is like wedged inside of this piece of foam here. So let me see if I can get it out. They don't want this thing breaking on the way to your door. So here's the tablet component. It's got that stuff on the display right here. Feels pretty good, actually. It's metal. You got a camera in the back. This is like one of these Surface clones. You got the pogo plugs for the keyboard here. Let me switch my view here and give you a better image of it here. So not bad. It actually feels very surfacey in its feel because it is metal. So it's a bit cold because it's been out in my garage waiting for me to unbox it. And there's a hinge here for putting it up on your desk like so. So, you know, for a Chuwi device, it actually feels somewhat decent. But again, the proof is in the pudding as far as the long-term reliability. Headphone jack here, you got a USB 3 port there. USB Type-C here, we'll test and see how fully functional that is. You've got another USB 3 port here and a micro USB. So let me check the power adapter. And so this is a round plug power adapter, and it looks like it's given you 12 volts at 2 amps, so it's not going to be USB voltage, so you should be able to power that chip at a decent rate. And I'm guessing, you know, I thought that might have been a headphone jack, but I think that's the power. Nope, power's on this side. Okay, there's the power over here. And that's the other thing that drives me crazy about these is that the headphone jack and the power jack look the same. And even me, who looks at this stuff all the time, often puts the wrong plug in the wrong thing, but hopefully it won't mess up anything there. So there you go. There's the tablet part, N4100 Intel processor on there, Windows 10. And we'll also make sure that Windows is properly licensed and all that when we get it going. And this is the keyboard component. And this doesn't feel as strong to me. It feels a little cheap. And this will attach to the bottom via magnets, so that's good. And then it kind of kind of gets itself connected the same way the Surface one does. And let's pull out the hinge here. And there you go. You've got yourself, let me move the stuff out of the way here. You've got yourself a little Surface clone that costs less. And it's, yeah, I guess it'll work. So yeah, we'll get this thing installed and tested, and we'll run all our usual stuff on there and see how it does. Now, a Surface Go will likely be a little faster than this, but on this one you do have the 1080p display, so it's got that going for it. So yeah, we'll give it a shot and see what it looks like, but overall it actually feels pretty good for a Chuwi product. I'm impressed with some of the improvements they've made here. By the way, there's also a micro SD card slot on the top there too. So stay tuned, we're going to have more on this one soon right here on the channel with a full review. that we'll be having up very shortly. Now this next item is something I bought for myself. This is my annual holiday gift to myself, and I don't know why I got this other than the fact that there was a good deal for the holidays. So I have a 4K TV, as you all know, and I made the mistake last year or the year before getting an Xbox One S because the X at the time was a lot more expensive, and I said, yeah, I don't need it. But now I'm seeing like there's some real enhancements that Microsoft has brought to the One X. So this year, right before they announced next year's new console, there was some good sales on the One X, and I took advantage of that around the Black Friday shopping season. So I picked one up. They bundled it with this basketball game or something, but this was the better deal, getting that game. They had another one with the new Star Wars game that was bundled, but that one was not available, so I went with this one. And yeah, we'll see what happens with it. Now, what I need from all of you on this is some suggestions as to what we should do about content with the One X console, because obviously this has been out for a while. Every gaming channel that exists has certainly covered the One X. So I would love to get from all of you some things to look at on this one. And we will certainly explore that in an upcoming video. So let's take it out of the box though, because why not, right? So here's the top of it. And we've got the coupon here for the game. So we'll explore that later. And then we'll cut over here to camera 2. And I've got a bunch of Xbox 360 games that apparently will take advantage, my camera focus is here, will take advantage of what the One X offers. So that was part of the reason for doing this. And now I've got 3 Xbox consoles that I rarely touch. And like I said, this is not a smart buy, but I can get rid of at least maybe 1 or 2 of the other consoles. So I think what I might do is get rid of my original Xbox console and then keep the S down here for studio work and put this upstairs with the other things. So this is the HDMI cable. And we've got a controller in here. This is your run-of-the-mill Xbox One controller. Although they added some texture to the back of it. It feels a little bit different than the ones that I've used before. And I've got the white One S controller upstairs. They give you some batteries in here too, so that's good. And then the console itself, let's unbox that. And what's impressive about what Microsoft has done with their hardware is that they have gotten everything not quite shrunk down to size, but they have everything in a form factor that has it all self-contained now. So when I first got the Xbox One, they had this huge power brick that had its own fan on it. And they've really managed to consolidate things significantly. And even this more powerful console is much, much smaller than the original, less powerful one was. So pretty attractive looking. It's bigger than my One S, I think. Or maybe, I think it is. I don't know. I'll have to go check it out upstairs. But yeah, it feels a little bit bigger. It's got a little bit of a thing that hangs off the side here. And what's funny is they don't want you to move the console without first removing any discs inside. So it looks like there's some risk of scratching your discs. And the DVD drive is right down here. So it's got an IR blaster there, USB port right up front. And then on the back here, you can see the power is integrated just like the One S is. So I can just plug the power in there. You've got your pass-through HDMI. And I don't think a lot of people are really using that pass-through feature, but they've kept it in here. 2 more USB ports, IR out, your optical out, your gigabit Ethernet, and that is it. And I'm really eager to hear how noisy this thing is going to be or not. It's actually got some decent weight to it also. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing around with this, and I would love to get some feedback from all of you as to what you might want to see from me in an Xbox One review, because again, this has been out for a while. I'd like to do something that's relevant to you because that will certainly be more beneficial to the viewers. I'll certainly look at it as a home theater thing, and maybe revisiting the Xbox as a home theater client might be useful. We did a video about a year or 2 ago comparing the Xbox One S to the NVIDIA Shield, and maybe we might want to revisit that and see if the One X brings anything different or if there's any new features that we should talk about when making that comparison. So that will be coming up after the holidays as well, and maybe if I get time, we could do a little live stream with me playing with my new console here. But the price point was really good on this over the holidays, and I figured, hey, why not? Let's get one and see what it can do. All right, now this next item might be of interest to people looking to extend a USB connection. This one came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. It's from Tripp, and this will extend USB 2.0 over Cat5 Ethernet. And let's take a look inside the box here. So you have a manual as to how to use this and the distance that it supports. So the distance, I believe, is less than what Ethernet can normally provide you for a network. So the maximum distance here is 164 feet, and that is it. But it will do USB 2.0 speed. So there's all the specs on how to use it. You can let them know you're listening. This, by the way, I think I mentioned this already, but this came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. This is the first component. So there's a power adapter, a transmitter, and a receiver. So let's open up the power adapter here. And I'm guessing this is going to be probably 5 volts, 2 amps. Let's take a look at that. 5 volts, 2 amps on the power adapter, your standard tablet-style USB voltage. And I'm guessing some of that power is going to be used by the transmitter itself. And maybe in the full review, we'll measure the amount of power going through it, because that might be of interest to some people. Now, this is the receiver. So this end we're going to keep down here, and the power goes in there. It's actually interesting. The receiver gets the power and not the transmitter, huh? And this device here is the transmitter. And what this does is you plug this into the computer, and this, or I guess the Ethernet. So now I'm confused about this, because you would think the receiver is what you would be receiving from, but apparently it looks like you plug the USB device into here, and then this end connects to the computer. So we'll try this out here and make sure I got the order of things correct. And what I'm going to do real quick is actually run a USB hard drive up to my daughter's bedroom upstairs. Now, her bedroom used to be my office, so I have an Ethernet drop there that's not being used. And I'm going to connect to it down here in the basement and see how this works and make sure that my order of things is correct. So let's have a look at that. All right, pardon the messy desk, but what I've got here is probably a 25-foot or so patch cable, and this is running to a connector that then goes up to my daughter's bedroom in a different part of the house. And up in the bedroom, I have a USB hard drive attached, and I just want to see if this will work over that long distance. So let me get the laptop situated here, and let us plug in this adapter and see if it all works. I'm going to connect this up via the USB hub that I have plugged in, and hopefully we will see everything connect up here. My hub, of course, just disconnected, and I can't show you the screen, but it looks like the drive is actually, there it goes. The drive is showing up here, so I have full access to this USB drive that's in a different part of the house. And I've got some old video footage here. Let's try to play something back here. Look at my hair back then. Yeah, that seems to be working. Maybe not. It just died on me there. Let's see if I can get back to that video. There we got quick time going here, and I can scrub through the file. So what we're going to be doing in the full review is we'll look at how much bandwidth you can get over this and whether or not this is something viable for doing storage over that long of a distance. I think the proper use of this would probably be mice and keyboards and other kinds of USB devices, but it looks like the drive is mounting here and is somewhat usable. So that's useful, and again, we'll explore some of the uses of this. We'll see what kind of bandwidth we can push over this connection. It looks like it just dropped out, actually. We'll look at what kind of bandwidth we can push over this connection, what the distance limitations are, and then any kind of latency that might come into play, especially if you're looking to extend a game controller or a keyboard and mouse and that sort of thing. So this one will be a fun one to explore, and I would love to get from you the kinds of things you would like to see in a review of a product like this. Now remember, this is not connecting over your network. It's using the same cable, but it is not going to be switched over IP. It is a direct connection between two ends. So you can't run it through your switch or something. It's got to be a direct connection in some way between that receiver and transmitter unit. So more to come on that, and that is going to do it for this random unboxing video. We'll be back with full reviews, hopefully, of all the stuff you just saw. And again, I would love your input as to what you would like to see in those reviews when we do them. So that'll do it for now, and until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold-level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Tom Albrecht, Rajesh, Logic GR, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/s.